another good question that many people ask me, what are the consumables used on a handheld laser welding machine? Which is a very good question, because if you're going to purchase one of these, you need to be able to work out what it's going to cost you to run the machine. And so firstly, it's going to be your wire, which is normal wire. And then the next thing will be nitrogen, which is 200 to 300 cheaper on bottle, so there's a saving with using nitrogen. Of course, the next consumable you're going to have to change is your lenses inside your torch, your optics. The mirror, the focus lens, and the two protective lenses will have to be changed sooner or later. And just to give you an example of what it looks like, I'm going to pull out this lens so that you can have a look. That's what the lens looks like. This little lens is protecting the second protective lens. As you know, the nitrogen gas flows through the torch to cool it down, keep it cool, but the gas also stops any debris going up the focus tube and hitting the lens. The nitrogen also gives a good shielding gas, takes out all the oxygen, gives you a purer, cleaner weld. But a big of it, the most important part of the gas flowing through the torch is it's preventing any dirt or sparks going up and hitting your lens. But unfortunately, you may get a stubborn spark that goes through and hits the lens. And if that should happen, if there's any dirt should get on the lens, the laser beam will actually burn that speck of dirt into the lens. And once there's now a burnt piece of dirt on the lens, the laser beam is now obstructed and cannot go through the front of the torch, which immediately will cause the torch to overheat and you will lose power. And as soon as that happens, Maxphotonics torches have got a temperature thermostat in here which actually picks up if it's overheating, and it will tell you on the machine that your protective lens is overheating and you need to change it. And that's when you'd have to remove this lens, put a new one in and put it back into the torch. Obviously, as time goes on with you opening and closing this hole, and when you do that process, you need to put a piece of tape over once you've taken this out, just to prevent dirt going in and dirtying your second lens. But with time, the second lens will also get dirt on and it will have to be changed. And likewise with the focus lens, these two lenses are in one compartment, and it's a good idea to change both lenses at the same time if you are doing that change. These lenses are relatively cheap, 90 rand, 95 rand each. And what is the lifespan of that little lens? I recommend you change that lens every 4 days if you're using the machine every day. Because even though it didn't get dirty, the laser beam is actually still burning the lens. So every 4 days it should be changed. How long do they last? If all goes well and you don't get any dirt going up, it should last you 4 days at least, if not longer. But you might be extremely unlucky, you've just changed it and within 2 minutes it gets dirty again. That is also possible. But in general, that doesn't often happen, and you're looking at changing the lens every 4 days, 5 days. The next consumable you'd have to change is your nozzle tips. These nozzles are relatively inexpensive as well. But because there's hardly any smoke or splatter, these nozzles last extremely long. It could last you a month, a nozzle, and also are relatively inexpensive. So the bottom nozzle is for your wire, and like I say, these don't get burnt, so they last indefinitely as well. But with time everything wears, and you'd have to change that eventually as well, and as well as your focus tube. Just from a lot of use, you'd want to change it sort of every 3rd month, 4th month maybe. But aside from that, that is all the consumables that the laser would use. It's the gas, your wire, your optics, and your nozzles. And we keep all the spares on those products.